Hello, dear friends. All science, news and comments converge on the same point called global transformation, but each one brings different point of view that helps to understand the complex process of change we are living. Some people say that I am giving bad news, but the transformation of the system is positive, even if it costs work like everything else. We are moving towards a new civilization that is not the new normal, that they want to impose on us. Signs abound everywhere, and I give many in this article. Opinion piece. Towards a new civilization, the end of an era. Everything is disintegrating. We are going to a fairer world. Nothing can stop what is coming. The current system is imploding. Europe protests against restrictions. Young people live in a dystopian hell. Physicist Brian Cox says we're holograms. The bubble is not in the stock markets, but in Bitcoin. Israel calls all Levites to select them. Elon Musk proclaimed himself Emperor of Mars. Russia to stop using Western payment system. Japan to release Fukushima radioactive water into the sea. Argentina's green cryptocurrency for reforestation. Pentagon creates a microchip that detects bug under the skin. Israeli commercial ship attacked off the coast of Emirates. The dawn of wireless electricity is upon New Zealand. China's digital currency could change international finance. Let's start. We are at the end of an era, the era of the old earth and all that has been created, written, recorded and programmed in that era of humanity, according to Judith Cashel. Everything is disintegrating. In fact, it is already gone, and everything now exists in holographic form. We are already in the midst of a new epoch, and therefore of total new beginnings that we expect to be wonderful. So often, when we have experiencing an ending, we mourn the loss of something we cannot define or put into words. Yes, it brings a sense of loss, sadness, and that kind of nostalgia at times. However, it is past. It is gone forever. No matter how hard we try, we cannot bring back the old time, the old earth, and the old humankind. However, we are now in the midst of the whole new creation and can often feel a bit overwhelmed because we are now entering new, as yet unknown territory. We are all in the process of being renewed, reinvented, and indeed confusion may reign, and with it moments when we lose faith, when we really stand up with shaky knees, and when we need to close our eyes and take those leaps of faith, even when we have no idea what will actually unfold. However, in the unknown, in the seemingly unexplored, there are paths and indeed steps and footholds that will emerge as we enter, portals that will open up that we could never access before, and with them new creations and new beginnings. It is up to us to move deeply into the higher levels, with a sense of curiosity, exploring beyond what we have known, and allow the sense of the adventure to enter, and with it will come inspiration. Yes, we will be challenged. Yes, as much as there is that uplift, there will also be times when we will find that something happens, and we are in fact going backwards in some way, and then we need to recover of our footholds, and in this recovery we suddenly find a higher and better way, and we are lifted up by unseen hands, higher and higher and higher and higher. One day We stop for a moment to catch our breath, and then we look back and see how far we have come. We are astonished and amazed. We no longer recognize ourselves, for now we are luminous and filled with much light and love. And indeed there is a wisdom and joy, ineffable joy, because now that we look back, we no longer want to be there ever again, because we had such a bad time. We turn our heads, and now we see the endless new creation before us, and we hold hands with like-minded souls, true soulmates, and now we walk shoulder to shoulder, joyfully as one, filled with the divine within. Dystopian hell. As reported by Lance D. Johnson, an Israeli professor, spoke in a recent video about the current mental and emotional deprivation of today's youth. How they are programmed to seek stimulation and consume, while being deprived of meaningful relationships and purpose-driving work. Sam Buckning, author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited, said today's youth are walking dead and living in a dystopian hell. Buckning is deeply concerned that future generations are being trained to seek a path of constant stimulations, which provides a constant escape from reality. This culture of spiritual deprivation is resulting in short attention spans, in ephemeral relationships, superficial conversations, lack of intellect and meaningful engagement. Hobbies and careers are no longer pursued with discipline, determination and loyal ambition. Critical and analytical thinking has dissipated. Talents are left unexplored, and interests are abandoned as digital distractions that produce a steady stream of dopamine take precedent. Crisis of the system. The current Western political system is imploding. The main problem is a group of messianics who think that the end times prophecies written in ancient books must be fulfilled. Let's start with the attempt to start Armageddon in Ukraine. We also have the Israelites with their Iranian enemies carrying out their tired claim that Iran is about to get nuclear weapons. Next up, the apocalypse. The world has been plagued with hot spots from Ukraine to China, where a major conflict could break out at any time. But I believe it won't happen because we are in the hands of divine providence. Is the Maya desperate to make up for the 4 years without war? According to such a file, the White House signals America's return to globalism and foreign meddling by choosing interventionist Anthony Blinken as Secretary of State. White House strategy. According to Thierry Mason, the administration presents itself as full of goodwill, but also seems to ignore the realities of the world. It proposes to restore democracy throughout the world, and aware that the social classes that gave rise to the current political regime are in process of disappearing, especially the middle class. US will not get involved in the Crimean conflict. The US is not interested in getting involved in a military conflict with eastern Ukraine, should it break out, but would shift the emphasis on provocative actions to Crimea, said the deputy director of the CIS Countries Institute, Vladimir Zarikin. NATO demands Russia to immediately withdraw its troops its troops on the Ukrainian border. NATO demands Russia to withdraw the thousands of troops that have been deployed on the Ukrainian border in recent weeks. According to the Secretary General of the Atlantic Organization, Jens Stoltenberg, this is the largest concentration of Russian troops since the annexation of Crimea in 2014. Doña Hilaria's court resumed Monday morning in famously seaside vacation bay resort after a 72-hour break that began Thursday afternoon when a bed-dragged lady collapsed on the floor in what appeared to be an epileptic seizure. But on Saturday, medical staff gave her a clean bill of health, saying she had probably faked illness to delay the trial. Nothing can stop this. Nothing can stop what is coming. It is supposed to be a well-thought-out plan by the coalition for many years. It's not supposed to be stopped anymore. All failures and setbacks can be solved with some kind of invincible technology. Bitcoin news. The bubble is not in the stock markets but in Bitcoin. According to the newspaper El Economista, liquidity abounds and the markets are frothy, as they say in stock market jargon. Expansionary policies have led to a rise in asset prices that worries some and motivates others to invest. In this scenario, more than a few voices are warning of a bubble, and investors seem to have detected a very clear one. But the bubble is not in the stock market but in Bitcoin, according to 74% of investors. The cryptocurrency continues unstoppable, and this Tuesday it has again reached an all-time high by touching $63,000. The IPO this week of cryptocurrency exchange platform Coinbase has further sparked a share price that is going record after record in the last year. Bitcoin surpasses $62,000 and breaks its trading record. The price of Bitcoin surpassed $62,000 on Tuesday to break its trading record on the eve of the IPO of one of the largest cryptocurrency exchange platforms, Coinbase. Political decline. The political elite entered the stage of self-destruction. This is the verdict of Michael Blahos, a man with a good naval biography, and now an American philosopher and political scientist. It is his article in the American Conservative. All these qualities, says Michael Blahos, are cyclical. Cycles repeat themselves in all countries and civilizations throughout human history. In his view, elites go through 5 stages. First one. In the first stage, society is headed by founding fathers. It is to say, ideologies who captivate everyone with their ideas about what to do and where to go. Second one. Then come the builders. It is to say, those who put beautiful initial ideas into practice. Third one. Then the modernizers come along. People look at what has been built, are dissatisfied with something, try to go back to the original ideas of the founding fathers to update them and build something better. Fourth, then comes the time of the managers, the technocrats, the plumbers, who simply try to keep the existing system in order. Fifth, finally comes the 5th stage, the decadence, We are now in that stage, I think. Europe. Europe is on fire at the moment because they are fighting back and saying, we want our freedom back. People are tired of living under constant restrictions imposed by those who think they represent their best interests and know what they need. Italians throw rocks at police and set off fireworks. Hundreds of protesters have traveled to Rome from all over Italy to vent their anger at Prime Minister Mario Draghi and his government's tough measures, which are making life difficult for most small businesses, such as restaurants. At least one protester was injured when a crowd of 500 gathered in the capital Monday, some of whom threw stones and bottles at police, while others set off fireworks. Europe's strongest economy posted record budget deficit. At the end of 2020, the deficit of all public budgets in Germany amounted to 189.2 billion euros, according to preliminary data from the country's Federal Statistical Office. Switzerland's two biggest banks may merge. Switzerland's second largest bank, Credit Suisse, may merge with market leader UBS Group to cover losses from the recent collapse of two vulture funds, Bloomberg reports. Russia works to stop using Western-controlled payment systems. Russia believes it is necessary to take steps toward the dollarization, switch to payments in national currencies, and stop using Western-controlled international payment systems, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said. BBVA announces a collective layoff. According to the company that just planned, affects only this company, representing around 23,300 employees. Negotiations with the unions will begin next Friday. US. Dollar languishes near 3-week low. The dollar held near a 3-week low against major rivals on Tuesday, pressured by lower treasury yields as traders awaited long-awaited US inflation data later in the day. Wall Street loses part of its gain after hitting record highs. After catastrophic 2020 for the global economy due to the confinement measures, everything seemed to indicate that 2021 would be better, and that recovery would be just around the corner. However, the improvement hasn't been linear. After reaching all-time highs, Wall Street have given back some of its newly acquired gains. White House calls chip shortage a national security problem. The US-China trade war, Bitcoin mining, the health crisis, a series of environmental disasters, and other global problems have led to a worldwide shortage of microchips in everything from smartwatches to automobiles. The US is treating the global chip shortage as a national security issue. While White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki announced, Pentagon creates microchips that detect bug under the skin. Medical researchers working for the Pentagon have claimed to have created a microchip that can identify pathogens if they are under the skin. The microchip acts as a motor control light for people, but does not track their every move, which has been central to online conspiracy theories. The technology was developed by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which operates under the Pentagon. Spanish footwear collateral victim of the Google tax. The US administration is threatening a rise in tariffs due to this tax that Spain has approved, and whose suppression the footwear sector is demanding to avoid the loss of jobs and sales. China. Digital yuan threatens North. China began a trial of its new digital yuan, or e-yuan, last year, with its central bank's currency based on blockchain technology, conceived as a tool to replace cash, combat currency-based crime, and make transactions cheaper and easier. China's digital currency could open international trade and finance. Beijing sees the move as a way to increase its monetary sovereignty, protecting it from Washington's decisions. The digital currency could be a tool for China to police both its economy and transactions occurring beyond its borders. One of the key ideas of the development is that it is not tied to the global financial system dominated by the dollar. The China's digital currency largely eliminates the ability of the US to impose sanctions and blockades, as well as to obtain information about those transactions. China urges US not to play with fire over Taiwan. China on Tuesday urged the United States to refrain from playing with fire on the Taiwan issue, after the administration issued new rules that will allow US delegates to meet more freely with Taiwan officials. Japan to release radioactive water from Fukushima into the sea. Japan plans to release more than 1 million tons of contaminated water from the destroyed Fukushima nuclear power plant into the sea, the government said Tuesday, a decision likely to anger neighbors such as South Korea. Middle East. Oil rises on Middle East tensions. Oil prices rose Tuesday on tensions in the Middle East after the Yemen-based Houthi movement said it fired missiles at Saudi oil site, and on an expected drawdown in U.S. crude inventory. An Israeli commercial ship comes under attack off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The commercial ship Hyperion Ray, affiliated to an Israeli company, came under attack Tuesday in the vicinity of the port of Fujairah, United Arab Emirates, reports the Lebanese media Al Mayadin, citing information from its sources. On the other side, Israeli media report that the vessel was hit by a missile or by an Iranian drone, which caused minor damage. Israel summons all Levites for selection. Priests are selected for the third temple. The Temple Institute announced an unprecedented program that will seek to identify and select Kohanim, it is to say, descendants of the priestly tribe of Aaron, whose biblical purity status will enable them to take a place as priests in the third temple in Jerusalem. Iran responds to Natanz sabotage with uranium enrichment. Iran announced Tuesday that it will begin enriching uranium to 60% purity in response to the sabotage of its Natanz plant, for which it blames Israel, complicating already tense nuclear negotiations underway. Egypt claims $900 million in compensation for Suez Canal blockade. Egypt is claiming this money in compensation following the blockade of the Suez Canal in late March, and in the meantime seized the container ship that cost it. Argentina. Curious green cryptocurrency from Argentina that boosts reforestation. The first tokens of this cryptocurrency are backed by a square meter of land in a 24,500 hectare field destined for the recovery of the native biosphere in the province of Misiones. The project will continue with lots in ecoregions of Salta, Patagonian forests, and the peatland of Tierra del Fuego until completing 100,000 hectares. Illegal fishing by foreign vessels in Argentina. Between 1986 and 2020, the Prefectura Naval captured 80 vessels, mostly from South Korea, China, Taiwan, and Spain. Greenpeace denounces that currently the ships deactivate their automatic identification systems so as not to be detected. Filmmaker Enrique Piñeiro flew with his own plane over the exclusive economic zone adjacent to the Argentine territorial sea and filmed dozens of fishing boats illuminating the southern night of the Atlantic Ocean. Thousands of fish turn up dead in an Argentine lagoon. Thousands of dead fish wash up on the shore of the Gómez Lagoon, located in the city of Junín, Buenos Aires province, on April 11th. Experts relate the death of these animals to a drop in the flow of water of at least 1 meter below its historical average. VAT on basic foodstuffs, a punishment for the poorest. Several countries in the Americas tax luxury and basic foodstuffs without distinction. For the specialist in tax justice, José Roberto Acosta, the latter should remain exempt in order to maintain the progressiveness of the tax. High-risk radioactive source found that put 9 Mexican states on alert. The National Civil Protection Coordination reported the discovery of a radioactive source in the municipality of Tecámac, state of Mexico, which had been reported stolen on April 11. Bizarre news. Elon Musk self-proclaims himself Emperor of Mars. Tech mogul Elon Musk has once again changed his Twitter bio. The co-founder of privately held aerospace company SpaceX has added Emperor of Mars to his bio. He has also added a winking emoji. Musk didn't give further details, but it shows the lingering interest in the red planet. Technoking of Tesla, Imperator of Mars, reads Elon Musk's full Twitter bio. The word Imperator or Imperator means an emperor or commander in ancient Roman history. The tech billionaire never fails to grab social media attention with his tweets and posts. Recently, he shared his wish for a future expedition to the moon with a tweet that reads as follows: I will be going to the moon very soon. Good luck. Physicist Brian Cox claims that humans are holograms and that our life is a simulation. The universe is like a vast and complex hologram, and reality is a 3D illusion. The seemingly solid world around us and the dimension of time are projected from information stored on flat 2D surface. Researchers from the University of Southampton, in collaboration with scientists from Canada and Italy, said that the universe could be a vast and complex hologram, and our perception of life in 3D would only be a mere illusion. Electric energy. Endesa managers are investigated for the electrocution of birds on high voltage cables. The Court of Instruction Number 1 of Vic investigates a complaint of the environmental prosecutor of Barcelona against the company E-Distribution, Endesa's trading company, for allegedly killing hundreds of protected birds electrocuted on high voltage cables in rural areas of the province of Barcelona, mainly in the region of Osona. The dawn of wireless electricity is upon New Zealand. Imagine the street outside your house. Now erase the power lines. Imagine the roads without the unsightly wire towers dotting the landscape. This could be the wireless future of energy if a partnership between the New Zealand government and a startup called Emerald works. And it all harkens back to Nikola Tesla's wildest dreams. Wireless electricity sounds like science fiction, but the technology is already developed and ready for a utility-scale case study. And in this one-of-a-kind pilot program, PowerCo, New Zealand's second largest electricity distributor, will test Emerald technology starting in 2021. The company's plan to apply the prototype wireless power infrastructure over a 130-foot span. To make this possible, Emerald uses rectifier antennas, also known as rectennas, which pass microwaves of electricity from one reference point to the next, a solution well suited to New Zealand's mountainous terrain. Specialized square elements are mounted on intermediate poles to act as waypoints that keep the electricity humming, and the wider surface area catches the whole wave, so to speak. And that's all for today. Be happy, dear friends.